Alright, so I thought I'd do a quick video on the tone and the amp and the guitars and stuff. I get asked questions in the comments a lot more frequently lately, so I thought I'd just do a quick video just to clear some of those things up and answer any questions. So my tone is about as basic, or setup, or I should say rig setup, is about as basic as it gets. So the guitar just goes straight into that Marshall SV20, Studio Vintage 20, which is like a mini plexi, and then that goes straight into that 1965 Marshall cabinet, which has got four 10-inch speakers. They're GL1035s, and I bought that in 1988, and when I bought it, it was used, so that thing's been around for a while. And then down on the floor there, right there, is a little green box. That's a reverb pedal that I've only used one time, and I believe that was on the Fly on the Wall video that I did a while back. So I don't really use that, but it is hooked up. And then up there is an attenuator. It's a Bugera, I think that's how you pronounce it, attenuator. And what that does is it keeps the volume under control. So if you want to turn the volume up on that amplifier, you want more gain, it's the high treble channel, you turn that up, but the volume goes with it and it's entirely too loud. So that attenuator, gives you the ability to get more gain out of the amp, but still at a lower volume. So it's great for bedroom, whatever, and for what I'm doing here, because even if I didn't have that, it would still be too loud. Now, over here is a positive grid Spark amplifier practice amp. You guys probably seen those. You can hook your phone up to it, get a bunch of different tones. I don't use it for any of that stuff. I just use it as a Bluetooth speaker. So as far as the rig setup, that's basically it. So that the music, the actual, like the AC/DC song will come out of that Bluetooth speaker, that Spark speaker there. And then, of course, my guitar tone's coming out of that cabinet. And then they're recorded with this little Shure microphone that's about 5 feet away from both of them. So like I said, it's a pretty basic generic setup. And then let's talk about the amp. So it's a 2-channel amp. You've got the high treble channel and the normal channel on this amp. For most of the videos that I've done, except maybe the first two and then the latest one, which is the Hells Bells video, I only use the high treble channel. On the Hells Bells video, I ended up jumping the channels, and I'll explain why in a second. So when you jump the channels, you can you take a little patch cable, almost like a cable that you would connect your two pedals together with, and you connect the high treble channel and the normal channel together, and then you can blend the two together to get different sounds or tones out of the amplifier. So the normal channel gets you more low end. So when I have the two channels going, I've got the normal channel on, but it's only set at about 1, so it just gives a little bit more bottom end to the sound, and that's because of the guitar change. So speaking of guitars, so this is the one that I've done almost all the videos on except for the Hells Bells video, and this is the My Malcolm Young Gretsch, right? So it's got the Powertron pickup in it. It's a great guitar. It's very heavy. It's got a lot of low end to it. I mean, this thing weighs a lot. The only thing I didn't really like about it was, take this little piece of foam out. You hear that, which is fine. I do it. It's the same way on the other guitar, but when you play open chords, like an open G chord, you hear that kind of ringing out here, and I don't like that. So you just take this little piece of foam, and that goes away. So great guitar, but nothing compares to the new one that I just got. I've had this for a couple of weeks now. This is a replica, custom-made guitar, handmade by a gentleman in the UK. Great instrument. I mean, I thought that guitar was cool until I got this. So this is awesome. So this is an exact replica of the Beast guitar that Malcolm had. All the wear, everything about it. The pickups, the Burns tailpiece. So this is a Burns tailpiece. So we had this on the guitar, then he took it off, and then he put it back on later on. I believe later on in his career, he put it back on the guitar. But it's got the Burns tailpiece. It's got the 1960 Space Bridge here, which is really cool. It's got a Filtertron pickup. And all the aging matches Malcolm's guitar. So in the detail is pretty incredible. I mean, there's a little hole right there. You see that on Malcolm's guitar as well. So, and then the aging there, all the parts are aged. And then another thing, that wire you see in there, you see that on Malcolm's guitar. I mean, this guy, the details, incredible. And then if you flip it around, you've got the aging here, and there's also a number that's engraved right in here, and that's on Malcolm's guitar as well, as far as I know. Somebody told me that. I don't know for a fact. I haven't seen the back of Malcolm's guitar or that number, but that's what I was told, and that's sitting there. So anyway, this is a highly recommend this guitar if you're in the market. Doesn't get much better. And then the headpiece, the headstock, you've got the aging on that. So an awesome guitar. So when we talk about Malcolm's tone, people ask me all the time about the tone. So I always try to think as clean as possible, with some bite to it. So there's guys in these cover bands, and they know way more about the guitar tone than I do. But what I try to do for these videos to get them to sound halfway decent is I just try to think clean, like I said, with some bite. So if I just, strum these chords relatively lightly, that's pretty clean, right? But then you put some muscle in them. Right? You get a little bit more, you get some more bite to it. So a lot of people, you see people playing AC/DC stuff with way too much gain or even distortion in their tone. Even for Angus, doesn't have a lot of distortion in it. But Malcolm's tone, in my opinion, is pretty clean. Also, he doesn't seem to have a lot of low end in his sound. You think, well, Malcolm's got this big, giant, mean tone. Must be a lot of bass in it. That's really not the case. It's actually got more treble in it, a little more high end to it than you think. You really hear the strings ring out in his sound. And a great way to tell that is, there's some isolated stuff that you can listen to on the, some of the Donington stuff. His tone's pretty clean there. So, but anyway, so this is the new guitar. So most of the videos that I'll do, I'll be using this one. I recorded, quite a few videos, so you'll still see the old guitar on some of the videos that'll be coming up. I think I did Bad Boy Boogie, some stuff from Fly on the Wall, maybe a Little Lover. Anyway, so they'll be on the other guitar, but I'll be using this one pretty much going forward. And then one more thing about people ask me about the string gauges. So these are the string gauges that I use. They're the 12 to 52s. These are the Elixers, the coated strings. They last a hell of a long time just because my hands get a little clammy and sweaty. So these work pretty good. But what's important about your strings is making sure that you have a wound G string, not a plain G. So you got to look for sets with a wound G in them. There's not that many of them out there. That particular set, of course, has a wound G, and there's some others. Ernie Ball makes some. I think Slinky. There's some sets with wound Gs, but you got to have that wound G in the tone. And I think that's about it. So if you have any other questions or I left anything out that you want an answer, just leave it in the comments, and I'll try to answer that for you. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.